Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we're going to be talking about Goblin Slayer Season 2, which was a recommendation by Decrepit Old Jeb. But before that, we were trying to figure out what we were going to be watching next week. And then you get to hear me kind of gush over my new little toy that I got. If you want to hear a part of that wider conversation, go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month will get you access to that bonus content. And of course, if you want to get yourself 15% off that first anime merch order at Crunchyroll, or if you want to score yourself a nice free trial with Crunchyroll, you can use our affiliate links in the show notes. And of course, if you want to join us live when we stream all our episodes live on Twitch and on YouTube. So go ahead and check us out at both one or both or any of those. And then also you can hang out with us in our Discord as well. And let's not forget about that nice swanky swag that you can get to help support us and help us grow by going to shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. And finally, as you all know, I love to talk about my nice, delicious, tasty Tokyo treats. And you know what? You can get yourself some nice, delicious, wonderful, tasty Tokyo treats by using our affiliate link, and then get yourself a nice discount by using coupon code Featured Anime to save yourself $5 off that very first box. And trust me, it is oh so worth it. They are oh so delicious. And now on to the meat and potatoes. Goblin Slayer Season 2 aired from October 2023 through December 2023. A couple of producers for it are Frontier Works, SB Creative, ATX, just to name a couple of them out there. And then you also have the studio of Linden Films. The genres for it are action, adventure, fantasy, dark fantasy. And then you also have the source material of a light novel, with it being 12 episodes long. Now, Goblin Slayer Season 2 picks up basically right where we left off with Season 1 in the movie. In case anyone's wondering, you do need to watch the movie before you watch Season 2, because it is in order of release as well. So Season 1, then the movie, Season 2, which then also references the movie at the exact same time. But it continues with our main character, Goblin Slayer, going around just doing what he does best, which is slaying goblins. However, he ends up getting drawn into other fights at the exact same time, where it seems like people are becoming more and more aware of the true dangers and horrors of goblins. And they're not just the petty whatever creatures that everyone's always made them out to be. You get to see some real character growth for him and the other characters at the exact same time. And a part of the season is Goblin Slayer also kind of taking on a more mentorship role, reluctantly, for a newcomer as well. It really does kind of drive home the horrors, the fact that he's dealing with a lot of weight and scars and trauma from his past, as well as how he's trying to handle it in the future, as well as all the other characters involved with it at the exact same time.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of got it dead on the nose with that one. One of the things that I thought was quite, I don't think frustrating is the right way to put it, but one of the things I found was quite interesting is that people don't take goblins as seriously as they do until they receive an encounter with them. And even after, you have a lot of people who are like, oh, they're just goblins, they're just this, they're just that, and they're the most horrifying boss level creatures I could possibly imagine.
Well, yeah, not only that, I mean, they, as we learned from Season 1, they can evolve and grow. And if you don't kill them all right out the gate, which a lot of the beginning and newbie adventurers don't do, is they evolve, they get smarter, they learn tactics, and they continue to escalate. So it just really kind of to show their horrors,
horror.
Yeah. And one of the interesting things that you kind of learned about one of them, right? Or learned about them, because you learn a little bit more about the goblins as well in this one. So aside from us constantly learning, is apparently there's a way to be able to tell whether or not they've procreated or not from what I gathered from one particular scene, because he was like cutting into one and he's like, it doesn't look like they've done anything with anyone. So we don't have to worry about kids or anything like that because they were a wandering tribe.
I missed that completely. I thought they were looking for if they ate people or not.
I mean, that is possible too. I could have totally misinterpreted that. Right. I mean, I'm
Talk
not
about with the handprint.
Yeah, the ones with the handprint, right?
Yeah. So you could be right, but the way that I interpreted that was, he was trying to figure out a party of however many 3 or 4 were taken, and he was cutting guts out essentially to see if they were consumed or not.
Oh
Like
yeah, okay.
how many body parts he could find.
That makes
see if-
more sense.
I
That
mean,
makes more sense.
I like your take on it because that's even more horrifying.
Right. Well, I mean, like, we know that's what they do, right? They take women and then they,
Oh yeah.
and that's because they can't procreate themselves amongst themselves, and so which makes them a next level horror on top of that,
Oh, yeah.
right? Which is like everyone who's never had to really deal or live through the trauma or anything like that for him really don't understand. And then you have people that are like the Archbishop or Goblin Slayer, even the Priestess, right? And soon everyone else in his party truly starts to understand the horror of the goblins.
Yeah, the true just yeah, are goblins a form of nature, or are they imported? Like, remember in season 1 there was this mirror that there was like, I want to say a colony or a village of goblins, and they were going through this mirror into this land. So I envisioned it as being like a separate dimension. Or do they just like miasma pop up?
I would honestly say that no one knows how the goblins started, simply because I think they pointed that out, that no one knows how the goblins initially came to being, but ever since they've been there, and they believe that they do come from the moon because of the color of the moon. Um,
Yeah.
but regardless, they don't need the moon to survive, because how they survive is by taking and
Yeah,
yeah.
Forced reproduction. But
Yes.
here's where it gets me. How do you differentiate which is going to be which? Like, you
What do you
have
mean?
you've got these goblins that are riders of sorts,
Mhm.
and like they ride wolves, and then later on you find out they try to ride, for lack of a better way to put it, this conglomerate of what a dinosaur could look like,
Yeah.
and it
Well,
made me think
they're not
they have a
dumb.
kind of
They're
magic.
cunning and they're able to figure it out. But that doesn't mean anything. And again, their lives, how they track through everything, how they move through everything, what they do with everything, just really tracks with what they do. And
No, I get that, but I
and
guess
their
my
evolution.
curiosity was, do they have do you think they have magic? Because
Yes,
controlling a wolf, okay, fine, I get that.
well,
I understand controlling a wolf. You're riding it like a horse, but he was the goblin I'm referring to was riding this monstrous dinosaur looking thing, and seemed to have some kind of control over it.
yeah, but he didn't have full control over it. And it's like he was trying to break it and it wasn't working out for him, so to
At
speak.
all.
Yeah.
At all.
So yes, they do have some kind of magic. That's why you have shamans and there are priests and everything. They have their own quote unquote adventure class, even so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
it's
I'm curious. So if every race, let's call them, that we've come across in Goblin Slayer has a particular ability. I think humans have versatility. I think that the dwarves have tenacity, and they're more aligned with like metal and liquor and stuff like that. Elves are far-sighted rogue, if you will. The lizard man is able to have ritualistic summons where he's uses the bones of his brethren. and he's able to summon their skeletons to fight alongside him or make them his own weapons. And I have a huge, huge gripe with that because they were able to get a skull of a long extinct, a long dead ancestor that turned into jade. Why didn't they use that? That would have been such a kick-ass, a great summon, powerful even.
Yeah.
Anyway, that I digress. Would it be possible, do you think, now we talked about goblins being able to evolve. Do you think their speciality is evolution? Because if you let one live, right?
Yeah, I would definitely go with their ability to adapt and evolve, because that's one of the things that's constantly pointed out that no one else seems to truly understand, is that they do constantly evolve. They do constantly grow with everything. So
It just seems like there's a really big, I don't know how to say it. There's a really big plot hole here, because Goblin Slayer can't be the only one to realize the threat and take action towards it. Now, we've talked about the Sword Saint and the priestess having encounters and being traumatized by this, and there are many, many, many other victims who are traumatized by this, who just simply stop adventuring. They just done, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes me think, is it just sheer negligence? Because even if you have the Sword Saint, somebody who is utterly powerful and crazy strong and super influential, even she was like, I need help from a silver ranked adventurer, Goblin Slayer. And everyone mocks him and everyone laughs at him, and he doesn't care because that's just who he is. That's the appeal of his character, you know? Very nonchalant and very single-minded, one focus, if you will.
Yeah.
Of my name is my job is my life, and my life is my pleasure, and this is what I do. And it's kind of funny. I don't think this man sleeps at all.
No, not at all. I mean, well, he does and he doesn't. And he calls this out too, specifically saying, "Hey, I sleep with one eye open because I hunt goblins." and the kid, so to speak, that he's mentoring is like, "All right, bro, whatever. Like, meh, meh. Joke's on you, or whatever it is." It's like, no. It's legit. It's 100% legit.
Yeah. Well, you would think that, as thorough as he is, even he misses some goblins. Some get away. Not many at all.
Yeah.
But you would think that they would learn and spread the knowledge of, fear this man. He is our demise. But no. They don't take any precautions against any of his previous methods in murder, and or rather extermination. And it's almost sad to watch them just throw themselves against what is effectively a meat grinder.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That tracks.
So I thought this season, it was kind of interesting because not only did you get to see your generic grunt, you also got to see a wolf rider, you got to see a potential tamer of sorts, you got to see a form of religion take effect.
Well, the thing is you saw a lot of those even in the first season and the movie as well. The only real thing you saw was them doing some more really messed up off the wall stuff, including trying to summon a demon or whatever.
Demon, yeah.
Yeah, and even that with its hand was kind of OP as it was. So
yeah,
it's not unusual. It's not too far out there for them to be going, "Hey, bro, I'm going to do something really crazy," because they stayed on track. And then you also kind of got a glimpse into the life of elves and how they view things, and their whole mentality as well, because you never really learn anything about them other than like, hey, you know, they're a long-lived race and you don't really see them all too often. Like our elf girl, she's it's like, oh, I've been gone and she calls it out too. She's like, I'm gone for like a couple decades, and for elves, it's like I was only gone for a day or two. Not really that long.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
her sister's 8,000 years old getting married.
yeah, and for them, it's like it's really telling, right? Right, because then you also kind of get an understanding of, you know, the lizard people and how long lived they are too, and their whole viewpoints
Yeah.
and his viewpoint on his species evolution along with it and everything else. And for humans, I mean, I don't. They never even touched on dwarves, but if we get a season 3, I feel like we probably would, where humans
Oh yeah.
are really the shortest lived species out of all of them. Uh,
Well, I mean,
but
except for goblins, but
well, I mean, so here's the other thing. It's like we got to see other species too on top of that. So we got to see a guy that's basically part dog.
yeah. I saw him and I was thinking to myself, how he's talking about let's kill all the monsters, and I'm like, bro, you are a dim light away from being a monster yourself.
He's just such a good boy, you know. Just give him a nice little treat, scratch behind the ear. He's good to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Take your arm with him.
but also on top of that, you also have like centaurs that were walking around and they were serving all the drinks at the bars.
Yeah. Now, did
And
you see any horsemen? Because I only saw horsewomen.
that's when you're having drinks served to you. Do you want horsemen or horsewomen?
I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, my question stands.
I mean, like, did you see any dog girls?
Fair.
Okay.
Fair. I had to think about that, but fair.
Okay.
Fair.
Or lizard girls? Or dwarf
I feel like
women?
we saw one.
Or dwarf women?
I mean, according to the lore, you can't tell.
Well, depending on the lore.
I'm like, depending on the lore, the character we've got here could be a woman, could be a dwarf girl.
He's a dwarf shaman.
I know, but again,
shamans are men, typically, aren't they?
I'm not sure. I've never had that thought.
Never questioned the reality of it.
Yeah, I've never been presented with a question.
Oh, there you go. There's your question. Are shaman men only?
Yes, they can. In many cultures, women have been the prominent in shamanic practices, and play a significant role.
Right. So the answer isn't yes, they can. It's,
yes. The answer is literally yes. A woman can be a shaman.
No, that's not what I asked though. You're saying yes to are shaman men only. You're saying yes. It's like, no. The answer is no. Shaman are not men.
So no, shaman are not men only.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you. Like, yes.
Sorry.
It's like are shaman men only? Yes. There have been periods in history where like I'm sorry.
I apologize. You asked that question. My question was, can a woman be a shaman? And they're like, yes, a woman can be a shaman. So I was reading. Yeah, I was reading the answer to my question.
Okay. Well, you didn't answer my question. You conflicted it. But there you go, right? So but depending on, again, going back, is like depending on the lore, depends on because it's what is it in Lord of the Rings? They poke fun at Gimli. Aragorn says it's like it's the beards, and that's why they can't tell men from women in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
yep. Well, that's kind of the lore I'm going with.
Yeah, I kind of figured. But if you look at is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Danmachi, one of the main characters, one of the characters that you run into is a dwarf and woman and looks nothing like a guy. They're just known for the great feats of strength.
Very true. Very, very true. So I don't like toss up. Could be a toss up.
Right. Yeah. Until we know if they're basing it off of Lord of the Rings or not. Yeah, off that scene. Yeah, I got you. Okay. No, but that's one of the things about this.
Give us a season 3. Okay.
I was going to say, I feel like I know what you're going to say. If they give us a season 3, hopefully they go into more details and we learn more about the dwarves, like we learned about the elves.
Well, kind of. I was going to say, if we get a season 3, I imagine that'll be a fundamental thing too, to try to bring all the major races together in a unified war against demons, because we found out demons are a thing here too.
Well, they've always been a thing, and that's the other thing is you learn about dark elves and you learn about the gods and demons and a gate to hell was sealed away and all this stuff. Like you learn about all this different stuff and the very rich history, which just makes it sound like it's like, oh, when all this stuff was going on, someone was totally isekai'd into the world and they're like, hey bro,
Yeah.
deuces.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, someone saved us from the evil demon lord, and it was just some random dude that appeared out of nowhere because he got isekai'd in. Like I feel like that's what it could be, but I mean, I don't feel like that's what it's gonna be, but I would be
I hope not.
I'd be a little miffed if that was the case.
Well,
But because it set it up pretty solid for that. You have to be honest.
Oh, 100%. 100%. All the telltale signs are there. But my biggest grief, my biggest gripe with this season is in season 1, you had dice rolling and you're like, ooh, this is a tension. This is a tense scene. We didn't get the eye glow. We didn't get the rolling of the dice.
Didn't get the dice, but you did get the eye glow a couple of times.
I mean, yeah, but it didn't hit the same way.
Right. But here's the other thing too, right? You've already gone through a lot of the turbulence and turmoil of him having to go through and grow and understand what's going on. And you already have a solid background for him. I feel like in season 2, it was more about the other characters because you saw the light shine more on the others than on him. So you saw a lot more third party interactions. You saw a lot more discussions that happened outside of him in more predominant ways at the exact same time. So you also learn more about his and when you do get to learn about him, it's not in the way you were expecting. It's all in the way that this is how we all started. This is where he began.
Yeah. I mean, season 2, if season 1 was about introduction to character, season 2 was about world building.
Yes.
In a really good way.
Yeah.
And I hope they do a season 3 because it'd be a shame if they didn't. But you also got to see repercussions. You saw repercussions from season 1, the actions that they took, the losses they suffered, the sacrifices they made. Continue on and have a butterfly effect almost.
You also saw the actions of the movie, which is why I say you have to watch the movies, because a character from the movie makes an appearance. They make references to what happened during that movie, as well as the results of what happened in that movie, too. So you have the echoing effect from season 1 and the movie continuing on in season 2. And it's not just main character effects, the effects from just the main character point of view, from his point of view. It's others, including some of the more minute off random characters where you're just like, that's right, that person was there. They did talk about that or see that person. They did save that one person. And it's a reference again.
Definitely a few callbacks that I was not only not expecting, it took me a minute to realize this is a familiar person. Why is it familiar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched season 1, the movie, and then season 2 back to back, it would be a heck of a lot easier to understand.
Yeah.
But even with the distance between when I watched season 1 and season 2, they were really nice callbacks. It was nice to tickle the nostalgia, the memories and stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I went through that too with them. I understand that. I was there for that part of the journey. And I don't really get that with many sequels. So I appreciated that from this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this was it was a great follow-up. It was a great season to watch. It was certainly enjoyable. It is well worth the watch. Say the least. The world building honestly just really kind of builds upon it even more. The artwork still continues on in a very solid way to where it doesn't do it a disservice.
Yeah, the artwork was really good here too.
Yeah.
Ow.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, honestly, I don't have too much more we could really dive into. It's a great show. You should honestly watch it. It is kind of the same thing that is in the first season and the movie. So it is not a great watch if you're expecting something to be phenomenally different, but there are some nice surprises in there for you. And
Yes.
it is, I feel like it's still worth a solid watch. So that being said,
Oh, 100%. 100%.
on a scale of up to 10, sir, how would you rate this?
This for me is a solid 8. Again, I didn't see the dice roll, so it's not a 9 or a 10 on that. Mainly because I felt like it was an integral part of season 1, and it felt like I felt it was missing.
Yep.
But the music, phenomenal. The suspense, pleasant. It was not. They didn't drag anything out. You had a cause, you had an effect, all in the same episode. Most of the time, there was one where it was a crossover from this episode to the next, but it was resolved so quickly. It didn't feel like it was next time on Dragon Ball. It wasn't like that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. The character building, the world building was impressive. The new cities, the new sounds, the philosophies that they were able to impart. You could tell that each side character was well rounded, and a good amount of knowledge was infused into each character's backstory. Or maybe not knowledge, but definitely intent. So that was a welcome. Surprise isn't the right way to put it, but it was a welcome change to most anime I've seen. So again, to reiterate, 8, solid 8.
Okay.
And you?
I'm gonna go with 8 as well, simply because it's a great show. It's well worth the watch. Does solid world building. Definitely continues on from the movie and season 1. There are some subtle callbacks. Kind of. There's a little bit of a shortcoming if you don't watch it back to back immediately, like we were just talking about. I do feel like it's kind of a repeat of what was already done. In season 1, but then again, it's also not all that unusual at the exact same time. I mean, like, he's Goblin Slayer for a reason.
If it works, it works.
Right. So yeah, that's why why I'm going with an 8 as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, you brought up one more thing. It's still an 8 for me, but you brought one more thing up. This show showed that this season showed that he had capability to kill other things.
Yes.
He was versatile enough to slay a sea serpent, a rather big sea serpent. He was knowledgeable of that stuff too. So
he was also able to defeat an orc in season 1.
Yeah, but I thought that orcs were just like bigger goblins. Like, I know they're not, but like in my mind, they were same family kind of thing.
And the giant eye in season 1.
Yeah, no, I don't have a proper reason for that, but still.
So I mean, like, it just again further solidifies that yes, he may only kill goblins. That may be his forte. He is capable of adapting and slaying other monsters should the need arise, and he's put in a situation. Yeah. However, if he's forced into a situation, he ain't happy about the situation.
No,
and the rebuttals to said situation are hilarious.
Mortal Kombat-esque brutality.
Yeah.
Ruthless efficiency.
Right. All right. Next week's choice, we're going to be talking about I'm Quitting Heroing from our dear good friend Goose.
Nice.
Yes, it's actually one that I have seen, but he said the reason why we need to watch it is it's a fun show. You may want more answers at the end, but it is fulfilling enough, and I'd have to agree with it. It's a fun enough show. It leaves you a good feeling. It has 2 OVAs. Make sure you watch those. So
okay.
So we'll watch all of that at the exact same time, which probably amounts to like 14 episodes total.
Yep, that's correct.
So, well, that's all the time that we got for today. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you feel like we did too much, just not enough, Justice got something right, something wrong, or anything like that, feel free to reach out to us and let us know. You can reach out to us on Discord, as well as all our contact information and emails and everything like that are available in the show notes. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.